स्टडी IQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Hello, namaskar. My name is Pooja Divedi. Welcome to my class, The Daily Current Affairs, where we will learn significant events of the past 24 hours in such a manner that you will get conceptual clarity, knowledge base, as well as the skills that are needed for your preliminary examination. See, I tell my students not to make any sort of notes because, of course, the major motive is to make you understand how to read between the lines and understand the basic necessity of preliminary questions. Another thing is that I already provide you the notes in the form of the PDF that I'm using through my Telegram channel, that is by the name of Pooja Divedi UPSC. So you can definitely be a subscriber to that channel as well, that Telegram channel, so that you get the notes of it. Other than this, if you want to talk to me about this examination or any other query related to UPSC, you can talk to me on my Instagram as well. So these are the many events that we have to cover. First, we will talk about patents in India because this was the one that was the practice question. So I gave it to you so that you can solve it and comment the correct answer in the comment segment. I will take the names of those as well. So consider the following statements. According to the Indian Patents Act, a biological process to create a seed can be patented in India. In India, there is no intellectual property appellate board. Plant varieties are not eligible to be patented in India. So what do we have to see? How many of the statements given above is or are correct? See, UPSC seldom asks about certain things which are in the news. That is definitely correct. Other than this, you have to read between the lines. Many of you may have read about the Intellectual Property Appellate Board, and it has been constituted in the year 2003. That means that is definitely telling us the second statement is incorrect. Then according to the Indian Patents Act, according to section 3 clause J, there are certain things that are excluded and cannot be patented in India. That also includes seeds. The first statement is also incorrect because here it is written that the biological process that are used to create a seed can also be patented. It cannot. Then plant varieties are not eligible to be patented in India. This is definitely correct. So first is incorrect, second is also incorrect, third is correct, one only will be the correct answer. Section 3 clause J of the Indian Patents Act excludes from patentability plants and animals in whole or part or in any part thereof other than microorganism. I am quoting, including seeds, varieties and species, and essentially biological processes for production or propagation of plants and animals. So here it was talking about biological process only. So this is how UPSC asks us questions, how it tries to confuse us, how it tries to put in certain keywords. If you you can pinpoint that keyword, you will definitely be able to crack that question. Okay. So first statement is incorrect. That is why the Intellectual Property Appellate Board was created in 2003 by the Government of India. If one has to appeal against the decision of the registrar, they can do so in this appellate board, and it works according to the Indian Trademarks Act of 1999 and the Geographical Indications Goods Act of 1999 as well. Now, the plant variety protection, if there is needed, it provides legal protection of a plant variety to a breeder, and that is in the form of plant breeders' rights. And this is dictated by the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmer Rights Act of 2001. It is a sui generis system. That means it is used in place of the regular patenting system. And it aims to provide for the establishment of an effective system so that protection of plant varieties and rights of plant breeders are protected. Alright. So I will take the names of those students who have answered it correctly by the end of this class. Okay. With respect to the Vishwakarma scheme, consider the following statements. I already asked a question about the Vishwakarma scheme yesterday, but back then, yesterday only, it was very sketchy, as in the details were not out fully. Now we have almost everything that we need to know. So it's a centrally sponsored scheme. First, credit support up to rupees 1 lakh in the first tranche and 2 lakh in the second tranche, that means part as we can say, will be provided with a concessional interest rate of 5% only. And 18 traditional trades will be covered in the first instance under the particular scheme. So PM Vishwakarma Yojana, we are going to talk about that. How many of the statements given above is or are correct? This is going to be launched on the Vishwakarma Jayanti. And this scheme will be a central sector scheme, not sponsored. That means the funding will be completely done by the central government. Central sponsored scheme is the one in which there is a sharing of funding between the center and the states or the union territories, not the union territories, but center, states, hilly states or northeastern states like that. But here we are seeing that it is going to be a central sector scheme. 100% funding will be done by the government of India, and then credit support will be given of rupees 1 lakh in the first tranche, 2 lakh in the second tranche, and it will be just provided at an interest rate of 5%. For the first instance, that means at the beginning of the entire period of this particular scheme, 18 traditional trades will be covered. We will talk about those as well. And this will have an outlay of rupees 13,000 crore for the next 5 years. That is from 2023 onwards to 2028. Okay, remember that. See, so that makes first statement to be incorrect, second is correct, third is also correct, only will be the correct answer. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, which is chaired by the Prime Minister, has approved the scheme, and this is for a 5-year period, 2023-24 to 2027-28. It will strengthen and nurture the Guru Shishya Parampara. That means generally we see in the tradition or trade of craftsmen and artisans, it is the parents, specifically the father, who passes on the skills to their children. So this is the Guru Shishya Parampara, and this is going to be strengthened by this particular scheme to improve the quality of their products, and also reach of products will be increased. Whatever craftsmen are producing, the integrity of the market will be such that the supply will be met with the demand, so that they are better known in the economic structure that yes, this is our craftsmanship and this is how it is outreaching the public at large. So we have to create demand and supply chains as well. This will of course take care of the artisans and craftspersons, and they will be provided PM Vishwakarma certificate and ID card. What is the government trying to do over here? We know because of the advent of the British, the basic industry that was thriving in villages were of craftsmen and artisans, and they were skilled enough to have a economic stature that they were well integrated into the economic structure of the villages. When the British came into existence in India, they completely disrupted their economic society, and hence they became impoverished. And because of that impoverishment, till now they have not been able to get back on their feet. So the government is trying to ensure that they get back on their feet. Credit support will be given. The concessional rate of interest will be just 5%. Scheme will further provide skill upgradation, not only loan, but skill upgradation will also be provided. Toolkit incentive will be provided, incentive to develop certain toolkits, incentive for digital transactions and marketing as well, so that it becomes easier for the consumers to reach them. Then 18 traditional trades will be covered first in the first phase. Carpenter, boat maker, armorer, blacksmith, hammer and toolkit maker, locksmith, goldsmith, potter, sculptor, stone breaker, cobbler, mason, basket, mat, broom maker, coil weaver. Also doll and toy maker, barber, garland maker, washerman, tailor, fishing net maker. Okay, moving on. With respect to the PM e-bus Seva scheme, consider the following statements. Around 10,000 new e-buses will be provided in the country. That means we have to ensure that we know the data as well. Any new scheme which comes into practice, we have to ensure not only the data is in our hands, but also the conceptual clarity. It facilitates the implementation of public-private partnership models, and the central government will allot rupees 20,000 crore. The rest will be coming from the state governments. So how many of the statements given above is or are not correct? Under the PM e-bus Seva scheme, what the government aims to do? To ensure that the transport and the mobility is green. Green as in, it is not emitting carbon. But one should think that the electricity that we are going to need will come from coal only. So the government needs to ensure that the electricity which is produced is being produced from renewable energy. Then only we can be well assured that it is not coal, eventually coal on which we are dependent upon, but the renewable energy. So around 10,000 new e-buses will be produced. That is definitely correct. In which cities they will be produced in? As in they will be deployed, not produced, deployed. They will be operational. So in which cities will they be operational? It will be decided by the government itself, by the central government itself, based on competitive models. And it will also be having a public-private partnership for financing, for infrastructure development, so that private sector can be a part of this big scheme. Then the central government will allot rupees 20,000 crore. That is definitely correct. The rest will be coming from the state governments. So first is correct, second is also correct, third is also correct. How many are not correct? None are not correct because all are correct. So the PM e-bus Seva scheme has an allocation of 57,613 crore. Around 10,000 new e-buses will be deployed in 100 cities that will be selected by the government through a competitive challenge model, and the priorities will be given to those cities which do not have any organized bus service, because these are the basic cities which actually have disorganized bus service and hence they emit a lot of carbon. Also, transport is a key contributor to carbon emissions. Of that, 14% is contributed by the transport, specifically the passengers, which include cars, motorcycle, buses, taxis. This is for a whopping 45.1%. So it will also have the facilitation of the public-private partnership. The private sector will be eventually participating not only in financing but procuring, operating and maintaining buses as well. Scheme will support bus operators for 10 years. Remember that. Because this is highly data based, we have to remember them. The central government will provide 20,000 crore, remaining will be coming from the state government, and the outlay, it will be spent by 2027 itself. Infrastructure will also be upgraded, not only e-bus services, but we also have to ensure that to charge those e-buses, we need proper infrastructure as well. A dedicated corridor will be developed so that the bus rapid transit service can seamlessly take place, so that the passengers can get the benefit, most of the benefit of it. Other than this, there will also be a deployment of National Common Mobility Card. Through this card, the passengers will be able to board these e-buses pan-India, and this will be of course a step in the correct direction. Now consider the following pairs: award and the recipient for the year 2023. Mind you, these awards have been given away on the 26th of January 2023, but still we have to remember them. Padma Bhushan Shri Kumar Mangalam Birla, Padma Vibhushan Shri Dilip Mahalanabis, and Padma Shri Miss Sudha Murthy. So what do we have to see? How many pairs given above is or are correct? These are the highest civilian awards in India, and the nominations are open for them right now. It can be given to even foreigners and posthumously. That means after the death of a person. Padma Bhushan for the year 2023 has been given to Shri Kumar Mangalam Birla and also Miss Sudha Murthy, and she has received Padma Bhushan only, not Padma Shri. So the third pair is incorrect. Padma Vibhushan has been given to Shri Dilip Mahalanabis among many other recipients, and this was given posthumously in the field of medicine. So first is correct, second is correct, third is not correct. Two only will be the correct answer. The online nominations for the Padma Awards are going on and they will be opened, remain open till 15th of September. They have been going on since May, and this nomination can be filed online through the Rashtriya Puraskar portal. Okay. So the Padma Awards, highest is Padma Vibhushan, then Padma Bhushan, then Padma Shri. Highest civilian awards, and they were instituted in the year 1954. These are given in the fields of literature, art, education, sports, medicine, social work, science and engineering, even public affairs, civil services, trade and industry. All persons without any sort of discrimination on the grounds of race, occupation, position, sex, these are eligible for these awards. Foreigners, NRI, PIO, OCI and posthumous awardees are also given this. See, this is an entire list that I have provided. When you find the PDF, you remember that you go through them. The Padma Awards for the year 2024 will also be covered by me when they will be given away. Okay, consider the following statements. Statement 1, Luna 25 has a leaner, that means slimmer, lift-off mass significantly lighter than Chandrayaan 3's. This reduced mass allows Luna 25 to accelerate more effectively towards the moon. So we know that Luna 25 is challenging the lander of the Chandrayaan 3, which has just separated so that it can make a final journey towards the landing. But on the south pole of the moon, Luna 25 is challenging that. How? Because Luna has traveled at a much faster rate than Chandrayaan 3. This is of course attributed to the leaner mass of Luna 25, leaner lift-off mass. Because of its leaner lift-off mass and Chandrayaan's heavier lift-off mass, there is a huge difference between them. And that is why it is able to easily accelerate itself towards the moon. Other than this, the amount of fuel that is being used in Luna 25 is much more than Chandrayaan. That is why Chandrayaan 3 is very economical, because we are going in a circuitous journey. We are not making a direct travel from the Earth to the moon. We have raised our orbit more than 4 times when it comes to the Earth, and then we are descending to the moon. Again, we are going like this, and this is the moon. We are not going like this. Is not like Chandrayaan will go directly from the Earth to the moon like this. It's not like that. This is what has made the difference between Luna 25 and the Chandrayaan 3's lander, and both these statements are actually correct. And statement 1 is the correct explanation of statement 2. Both the statements are correct, and statement 1 is the correct explanation of statement 2. Now we have finally separated the lander, and the lander will land probably on 23rd or 24th of August. But it is said that Luna 25 will be landing at an earlier date. Why? Let's find that out. As I told you that how did we go ahead? 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this, 1 orbit, 2 orbit, 3 orbit, 4 orbit. We had this, right? And then we put this Chandrayaan on the orbit of the moon. And then again we are descending at the from the similar process. That means we are making a circuitous journey, not a direct journey. Direct journey from the Earth to the moon will take 4 days, an immense amount of fuel, for which India was not very ready. So Chandrayaan 3 used fuel thrusters and also the gravity, the pull of the gravity. So hence we can say we are much economical. But there is a difference between the two, how these two are working. Luna 25 was launched on 10th August, whereas Chandrayaan 3 was launched on July 14th. I have already told you, first it made earthbound maneuvers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We raised the orbit, and from there we took our Chandrayaan to the moon, and then moon-bound maneuvers were also made. But when it comes to Luna, Luna is going directly, and it is making just 2 moon-bound maneuvers, and that is why probable landing will be earlier for Luna, because it has reached at a much faster rate. Not only that, this is one of the contributing factor. I will also tell you about other things. That here, how is it going? As you can see, Luna made many not as many maneuvers as the Chandrayaan 3. Okay. Also, we have to keep in mind who will land first, which lander will land first, depends on the trajectory of the sun. Because this is the moon, these are 2 important areas. Supposedly this is the landing spot of Luna, and this is for Chandrayaan. Okay, and then we have to understand that the importance of the sun is very immense over here. If the sun lights up the surface, then only the solar powered panels of both Luna and Chandrayaan 3 will work correctly, so that landing can happen. So sun's trajectory is very important, and both Luna 25 and Chandrayaan 3 will be in polar lunar orbits, with the moon rotating below as they orbit above. And Chandrayaan 3 is actually targeting this latitude and longitude, but sun will rise over this area only on August 21, which will remain till August 23. But when we talk about Luna 25, it is going for the Boguslavsky crater. Boguslavsky crater is over here, and here the sunlight or the sunrise will be much earlier, and that is why there is a lot of probability that Luna 25 will land first. Okay, this is what we are going to see. It's going to be very competitive. Also, I have already told you about this. So let's move on. India's first unmanned aerial system drone, that is Common Testing Center under Defense Testing Infrastructure Scheme, will be established in Karnataka, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Odisha. The correct answer is option C, Odisha. Now this is going to be established in Odisha with an area of about 2.3 acres at the SIPCOT Industrial Park, Vallam Vadagal, near Sri Perumbudur. And it is going to be it will make Tamil Nadu a significant contributor to the self-reliance of the country in the spacecraft as well as defense sector. Okay, consider the following: Lonar Lake, Akal Fossil Wood Park, Eramatti Dibbalu, Charnokite, St. Thomas Mount. How many of the above are a geoheritage site in India? Recently, it has been said that Eramatti Dibbalu, not recently but since many years, it is losing its integrity because of the sheer corrosion that is happening. And Eramatti Dibbalu is one of the geoheritage site. Not only that, but also Lonar Lake, Fossil Wood Park, and Charnokite, St. Thomas Mount is also a part of it. So all four will be the correct answer. Eramatti Dibbalu are rare red sand dunes. Okay, these are Eramatti Dibbalu. These are red sand dunes, and they store millions of years of geological processes. So that is why it is important to preserve them. We have to understand how our earth evolved geologically. That is why. It is dissected and stabilized coastal red sandstone mound. It is located between Vishakhapatnam and Bhimuni-Patnam. Okay, as you can see over map here. Eramatti Dibbalu. Alright, moving on. These are one of the notified National Geoheritage Monuments. Whenever a place becomes a geoheritage monument, it can be maintained and preserved better. It has light yellow sand dunes at the top, followed by brick red sand unit and a reddish brown concretion bearing sand unit with yellow and sand at the bottom. Lonar Lake is situated in Buldhana, Maharashtra, and it is actually also known as Lonar crater. Earlier it was thought that it developed due to volcanism, but later on it was arrived at that it was developed because of meteoric activity, when a meteorite actually put a hole in Buldhana and the water got collected in that depression. So Lonar Lake was a result of that. The lake has been known actually since ancient times, but British officer J.E. Alexander was the first European officer to visit it in the year 1823. Alright, and the kind of water it has saline and alkaline water. Alright, and it has also been declared as a wildlife sanctuary, so that the biodiversity that is dependent on that area is well preserved as well. Then we have Akal Wood Fossil Park in Jaisalmer. It has the documentation since prehistoric era. And as you can see, it is over here in Rajasthan, Jaisalmer specifically. It is a 21-hectare reserved area which is under the National Geological Monument of India. It is 17 kilometers from Jaisalmer. Used to be a forest about 180 million years ago, but now it just is a group of fossils. Fossil of an ancient redwood tree trunk is also preserved over here. Moving on. Charnokite, St. Thomas Mount, Chennai, is a typical exposure of quartz feldspar rock. And the name Charnokite actually originated from the use of the same rock which was used in the tomb of John Charnock. Job Charnock, beg your pardon. Job Charnock is known to be the one who has developed Kolkata. And the constituents of the rock suggest of this origin in particularly dry and high temperate condition, the area which I am talking about. And this shows primordial crustal evolution of the earth. Now, as you can see in this particular map, here it is, the Charnokite rock feldspar. Okay, moving on. Geoheritage sites are geological areas of cultural as well as scientific, academic value, sometimes also economic. They can also be included, and Geological Survey of India declares any area to be so. This is the list that I have provided to you, 32 in number, the important notified geo sites, okay, geo-heritage sites. The Sulina Channel is a part of Volga River, Danube River, Ural River, Congo River. You have to tell me in the comment segment the correct answer. Let me take the names of those students who have answered the last question correctly. Okay, so stay with me. I will take your names. Yes, Riya has answered it correctly. Riya Darshan has answered it correctly. Shambhav has answered it correctly. Mandeep, Komal, Randhir, Krishna, thank you so much, Krishna, Shivani, Chetan, Mohit, Simran, Tanu. My mobile phone, you have answered it incorrectly. It's option A. Abhishek, very good. User, something user, very good. Answer this as well. I will take your names in the upcoming segment. Thank you so much for watching and stay updated.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।